All right, everyone. We'll go ahead and begin the presentation. Thank you all once again for joining us here today as we present our webinar, Surviving the Amazon Effect. My name is Seth, and I'm the Marketing Manager with Keystone. Just a quick reminder, all of our attendees are in listen-only mode. So if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, please feel free to type them into the question or chat panes you should see in the control panel, I think towards the right-hand side of your screen. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So we'll do our best to answer those questions and comments as they come up during the presentation. And we always try to save some time at the end for a question and answer, but we strongly encourage you to ask away as the webinar progresses. Also, this session is being recorded, and a copy will be emailed to everybody within a few days. So with all that being said, I think we'll go ahead and get going here. I'm very excited to have you all with us here today, and I'm very pleased to have our president, Eric, here with me as well as our featured presenter. Here's a quick look at the agenda and kind of an overview of what we'll be covering today in the Surviving the Amazon Effect presentation. So first, we'll tell you a little bit about Keystone and who we are. Next, we'll discuss the Amazon Effect, what it is exactly and what some of the impacts are. After that, Eric will tell you more about NetSuite and why it's an ideal solution for distributors. Then we'll take you into a NetSuite demo account so you can see some of the amazing things it can do for yourself, as well as we'll take you through a couple NetSuite e-commerce sites. And then finally, again, we'll try to save some time at the end for any Q&A. So with all that being said, there's a lot of exciting things for us to cover. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Eric.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Seth, and welcome to everybody that's on the webinar. Thanks for taking time to join us today. So as Seth said, just really quick, a little bit about who Keystone is, so you know a bit about us. But we're Keystone Business Services. We are a NetSuite solution provider. As you see the logo in the upper right. We've been working with NetSuite now for 14 years. And we're really a pro services company. We implement NetSuite for businesses that are interested in migrating to NetSuite's cloud suite of applications. We also have a lot of clients who might have implemented with someone else but are looking for ongoing support or optimization services. NetSuite is the vast majority of what we do. And we are, basically, we call ourselves a cloud computing integrator. So we implement, integrate, and deploy really NetSuite. As I said, 14 years. We've been at this for 14 years. We've implemented hundreds of clients. And you know, we have a very experienced team of certified consultants and developers. You know, as a founder, I've been here 14 years, but have been doing ERP consulting and other business-related services for 20, 30 years. All of our senior consultants, likewise, have been several decades, bring decades of experience really to our clients, and that's really one of the things we really bring is we bring a lot of real-world business experience. So on the one hand, we know NetSuite very well and its capabilities. On the other, we have a lot of really solid business experience that we bring to our clients to help define their business processes. As we'll talk about the Amazon effect, there's some very specific, impacts that Amazon has had over client expectations. And, a lot of what we try to do is help clients make sure we have a great business process that will deliver a superior customer experience if they migrate to NetSuite. Really, our core attributes that we really focus on is one is being responsive. I often emphasize that we are in a service business. Being very responsive is always critical. We take ownership of client issues. We know that you work with us because you want our expertise. And you also want to see when you have an issue or a request or you want to change something that gets done in a very timely basis and that we see it through to completion. We believe in working collaboratively. Whenever we're doing, if you've been through ERP implementations, you understand The client team is very involved. The consulting team is very involved. And then even within the consulting team, there could be developers and consultants. So working collaboratively applies not only to Keystone internally, but to the extended team, including our clients. We're big on open communication and very effective direct dialogue. And then we also look to implement the most appropriate solutions for our clients. We believe simpler solutions are the best, especially if they can deliver superior service. And we really work with our clients with that attitude. We also work with Jitterbit, which is middleware, and we've done some Salesforce work on and off. But everything we work with is in the cloud. These are a few of our clients that we work with. These are all NetSuite clients. Some may look very familiar to you because there are some better known consumer brands. Others are more, in specific verticals. But RxBar, Garrett Popcorn are probably two of the better known clients just because they are well known consumer brands. Feeding America, also a very large nonprofit that we work with there. Very much like a distribution company. And then, a lot of, if you look and you recognize some of the names, a lot of wholesale distribution, and then some pro services firms mixed in as well. But, we've been working for a long time. We've got some very small clients. We've got large clients. Our focus is really helping clients with NetSuite and making sure that they have a very effective NetSuite implementation. That's all I'm going to talk about Keystone. Again, very brief. We only have an hour. If you have a follow-up conversation, I'd be glad to go more in detail about who we are and our business. But really what we want to talk about is the Amazon effect. And the Amazon effect, and then we'll look at, how NetSuite is, designed to help deliver that. But first off, really kind of what is the Amazon effect, right? The best definition, or the definition that I like, and we've kind of pulled this together from, talking to clients and various articles online. But really, Amazon has had a significant influence on customer expectations. So if anyone uses Amazon Prime, right, before Amazon Prime or Amazon was available as an online shopping platform, I think you would recognize that, Amazon Prime, people use it. It's very easy, right? People know it's easy to use. It's a great customer experience. It's easy to shop. It's seamless. They have, one-click checkout, very easy to use. There's optimized fulfillment, right? I mean, a lot of times, we're in Chicago. We can get same-day delivery sometimes, right? But, it's not like the order goes off and you have to wait a week for someone to ship something. It's oftentimes very streamlined and optimized. And we'll talk about, NetSuite. NetSuite can actually deliver that as well as Amazon can. Free shipping is a nice add-on. Obviously, you need to make sure you have margins for that because shipping can be, depending on your vertical, a significant part of your cost. And then a lot of search, filtering, content with meaningful product information and reviews. And we'll get a little bit less into that, but as you'll see in some of the websites that we'll show you at the end that are built on NetSuite, you definitely have the ability to put all that content there. And recognizing, in my view, the challenge of content and meaningful product information, that's a lot of times the challenge is on our clients, right? It's easy enough to put it, there's ways that they're already built to show that information to clients, but obtaining that information is oftentimes where, the real work is. And that's, again, NetSuite supports it, but the work is really on you that are attending to actually have that information, and that can be a significant effort. But again, I do like to mention it because it is relatively important. When you shop on those online sites, everyone likes to see product reviews. And really, next thing on the Amazon effect, just, if you look historically, and I won't spend too much time on this. I think everyone knows, right? Amazon versus clicks and mortar is, Amazon is, continuing to increase in sales, and, some traditional retail, is definitely flatlined, or in some stores are, continuing to scale back their retail presence and move more and more online. And that's even the Costco's of the world and now the Walmarts of the world. Obviously, they're all focusing online as well because they realize that's a critical part of the experience. And it's easy for us in a major city to go to some of these stores, but especially if you're in more rural areas, that online presence can be really important. And then really, so I think most of us would kind of understand that, but I would also want to then ask, well, okay, so how do you deliver, right? How do you deliver an Amazon experience? So Amazon's one of the largest corporations in the U.S. Has access to a lot of resources, very financial, funded. Capital is no issue for them for any line of business, right? And but what you need, if you want to really think about it, is what you need to deliver an Amazon experience is first off to leverage technology, and no one has the capital to build what Amazon has built. But this is where I think cloud computing really comes in as a benefit, particularly as you scale down into the mid-market and the kind of the under 50 or $100 million businesses. Cloud computing, one of the great benefits is it's very advanced technology, but it's sold on a subscription based on your number of employees. So the pricing scales, the cost of that technology scales down significantly to smaller businesses. So we think leveraging technology, as you'll see with NetSuite, is a key part of the solution. Separately, a seamless, optimized process. So, as an undergrad, I'm an engineer. I'm big into efficiencies, and I love clean processes that flow seamlessly. And you'll see that in the demo. I mean, in the NetSuite environment, from the time you capture an order to the time it's fulfilled, it seamlessly flows through the application. It shows up for the warehouse to fulfill as soon as the order goes in. Shows up for shows up to be invoiced, or even is automatically invoiced at the end of the day. And we'll talk some about invoicing and the various methods to invoice. I know I'll mention this later, but it's very popular now, and we're seeing a lot of clients, our existing clients, on their invoices, they want to put a click to pay, right? So just put a hyperlink, click to pay, seamlessly integrated with NetSuite. So the client gets the invoice, they click it, they enter their credit card information, invoice is paid. And seamless for your accounting team as well. And that comment ties into the next comment, which is personalized, customized service, right? People want personalized service and things that are built specifically for them. So self-service quotes is an example. Account self-management, right? More and more people like to be able to manage their orders themselves, go online and place orders themselves, which as a business is great because it's your lowest cost channel, right? Nobody's on the phone taking the order. You're not investing time. The order comes right in, and even better is the customer is the one that enters it. Access restricted sites, right? So the ability to have certain products for certain sites and pricing and user-specific pricing. So if a customer, especially in the B2B market, customer logs online into shopping or is going through your portal, they want their pricing, right? And again, these are all features that NetSuite supports. Quantity pricing, right? Quantity-based pricing, 1 to 99, 100 to 249, 250 to 999. At your negotiated price levels, right? Those have to be supported as well. Multiple shipping addresses. This is we have a lot of clients who obviously a lot of our clients don't run on NetSuite e-commerce. The majority don't. But I know that there's a lot of very popular e-commerce programs that don't support multiple shipping addresses on one order. And so clients have to, if they have multiple, if they're placing an order that's going to be shipped to 2 locations, they got to place one order and then start all over again and place the second order, right? That seems like a nuisance, but once customers get used to it and expect it, that's something you want to be able to provide. And again, NetSuite supported multiple shipping addresses. I don't know, for as long as I've been working with NetSuite, so which is, again, over a decade. And then, store and outlet locator. And then giving specialized expertise and advice, right? So that's more having a chat window available, being able to call people on the fly, making sure you have, resources readily available. Again, that's less about NetSuite, right? All those plugins for chat and talk to an expert, they can all integrate with the website. They're very compatible, but you're not necessarily leveraging NetSuite. Although I would say typically, your frequently asked questions, your product brochures, NetSuite does support making all of those available online, right? So in your customer center, you can make that information available in a searchable database, right? So that's all. Those I think when you think about it, technology, seamless, optimized process that's highly efficient, right, to get an order in and out, making sure you're personalized, you personalize the face of the customer and what the customer sees, and then providing expertise on your products, right? Those I think are some of the key things that obviously NetSuite is able to help deliver. And so that's the Amazon side. Now this is typically what we hear from our clients or our prospects when they come to us and they start talking to us about NetSuite, and it's all the things that they want to get to where Amazon is, right? So a lot of times, if you look at the blue on the left, disparate and siloed systems make inventory management difficult, right? Very difficult to put on their website if a product is in stock or out of stock. We're not going to talk as much on the procurement side today, so we'll go over those, but the ones in the middle, not consistent data, which makes it hard to really understand the customer or see a customer's history. Outdated payment receipt methods, right? I just mentioned, that ability to accept a credit card securely online, and also have it stored within a PCI compliant database, so that if you should have to do a refund for whatever reason or a partial refund, the card is stored and you're able to process that without having to call the customer back. Or very simple and easy to use things like, I want to put a link on on the PDF of the invoice that the customer clicks on, enters their credit card information, and can pay online. And then also, on the right side is, technology infrastructure, very siloed and very difficult to replace. And if you're dealing with prem-based systems with servers on site, it is very costly. Right? There's a lot of hardware to buy, a lot of capital investment. Cloud-based solutions, much better. So really, this is kind of why this is a slide more specifically about NetSuite. But really, why people migrate to NetSuite, and it is a lot. It is a lot about those issues, addressing those issues that clients have, or those impacts of the Amazon effect. One is it's designed for modern business. So, like Amazon, NetSuite was founded in 1998, and it was built and it was founded. The internet existed, right? when NetSuite was, the people conceived of NetSuite and how it would work in this electronic environment, right? It's not a platform that's been around since the 80s that was really built to run on a little standalone in a silo. It was built for an open world and for a modern business. It's very flexible, right? Flexible is important, one, to make sure that the small but important process modifications can be done to align with each client's business model. But it's also important to be able to do it simply. Unified data model is great because one of the things about Amazon is you want to be able to see customer calls. You want to be able to pull up their account and see everything about them, see what they bought, see what's in the pipeline, maybe some open quotes, see their open receivables, see if they're overdue, see if maybe their account's on credit hold, see any reviews they submitted, right? Within NetSuite, you're able to see that 360-degree view of the customer. Also, simple things like if they call up with a return and you say, oh, what's your order number? And the rep immediately has the order and can see exactly when did they order that product. Is it still under warranty? Maybe it was 13 months. Maybe the product's no longer under warranty. Maybe the client's confused and they actually didn't buy it from you and they bought it from someone else and they just happen to be calling the wrong person. You know that because the rep will say, well, I don't see where you bought that product from us. Commerce omnichannel, obviously critical with Amazon, right? Your e-commerce site is running on your NetSuite account, all, one integrated database, and then built for growth. NetSuite is built on Oracle. An Oracle subscription will start, at the low end, at $10,000 a year. That would be for very, very small client. But with that $10,000, you're actually getting an Oracle database, which is dedicated to your business, and Oracle Enterprise Application Servers dedicated to your business. So that's technology that would cost tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars if you were a large business, right? But you're getting it at at a fraction of the price, delivered as a cloud, and also reflective of the business's size. But you are running on Oracle, and it's able to handle any growth. And here's just a little bit more about NetSuite. And I know more and more people have heard of NetSuite, but it was the first cloud ERP founded in '98. Now has thousands of employees and is used by 40,000 organizations around the world. It was acquired by Oracle, so it used just to say NetSuite. Now you'll notice it's Oracle NetSuite. So it's like a standalone division within Oracle Corporation now. It's also why it runs all on Oracle technology. But it was acquired 2 years ago, and since then, Oracle has significantly invested in the application in terms of engineers and product development and feature function. It continuing to add features and functions at an accelerated rate, and as well as advertising. So I know you've probably heard advertising on the radio, advertising on TV, which is great for us because 3 years ago we used to have to explain who NetSuite was, and now more people are aware of who they are, and maybe saw the original founder Evan Goldberg on TV even. Anyways, it was a $1 billion company in 2006. Now it's significantly larger, and they've got offices now in dozens of countries around the world. So a little bit about those individual things. So first off, and I'll kind of run through these to get to the demo, but it was designed for a modern business. It wasn't built as a prem application. It was built to be accessed by a browser. And so it doesn't matter if you're on a Mac using Safari, if you're on a PC, if you're on some Android device, however you want to access NetSuite, you can access it. All you need is a browser and an internet connection. And it does, it transforms your capabilities. In the interest of time, we'll move on to the next slide. But it's an extremely robust integrated platform. The old world was kind of a maintenance centric that sat behind a firewall, kind of a green screen. I know if anyone's, those who have been in business for a while, you kind of remember what those green screens used to look like. Whereas, NetSuite is anytime, anywhere application. Also available, we won't get into it today as much, but accessible through mobile devices, right? So you can access it from your iPhone or your Android device. I know I do at times. If I'm out of the office, I can actually log in and either approve things that need to be approved or check on the status of various opportunities. Built-in flexibility. This we just like to just make sure folks understand that the core of NetSuite is your customer management, your order management, your global financials. A lot of our customers are single entity, U.S. only. They don't have global financials. We have a lot of clients who start as a single entity and then end up expanding and move to a multi-subsidiary environment. Could just be all U.S., could be U.S. and overseas. NetSuite's able to grow with the business through those changes. And revenue management as well. We're not going to talk much about it today, but the new advanced ASC 606 revenue rules, if anyone is familiar with those, NetSuite has a module that I would say probably half our customers use for managing and reporting revenue. But all feeding off a single database with flexibility. And this is some of the flexibility. First of all, it's a single cloud code base, so you're not dealing with multiple systems. Most people who come to us, they have 2 or 3 systems, usually 4 systems. One's Excel, right? And people running around with spreadsheets. Hard to be nimble and responsive and optimized when you've got data in spreadsheets, which quickly gets out of date. It's flexible. Our clients who have with administrators, it's very easy for administrators to manage the application themselves. We do tailor the last mile. Always, there's some level of customization or unique special sauce that each business brings, and we work with our clients on that. But it's the last mile. It's not the core. And then that customization, that's your competitive advantage. We do help deploy that. And this just gets into based on the role, end users on the left, end users have personalized dashboards, as you'll see. An analyst or your accounting team obviously have more customization, and then the developers, even have more that they can customize. So there's really kind of 3 levels of customization, depending on the sophistication of the user that we see people customize NetSuite. Next one, business intelligence. I mentioned before, right? A lot of times people who come to us might not be this complicated, but it's always multiple systems within spreadsheets, right? Spreadsheets in the middle of everything. And it's very easy, low cost system, but it's, as everyone knows, prone to error, right? It's very common to, you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have process breakdowns, things are going to get lost if part of your core process leverages spreadsheets. It's impossible to have a tight process if you're doing things in a spreadsheet. People delete rows mistakenly. People delete data. It's just not very tight. Whereas, with NetSuite, it's all integrated in one database. And as I mentioned, the database is easy to access. That's a screenshot of a dashboard. You're going to see live dashboards in a minute, but the data is there. It's a click away. It's always current. It's always accurate. There is no, it is the source of truth. People aren't reading different tables of different things and trying to figure out why there's a difference. But the data is always accessible. And the thing about a dashboard that we'll drive home, out of sight, out of mind is, I think, a very applicable and true phrase. And one of the things that we do with our clients is make sure that for each role, when the person logs in, if you're a sales rep, you see a dashboard. That is the key things that the VP of sales wants you to see. And the VP of sales wants to make sure that it's in front of you when you log in, and you're tracking the same thing that they're tracking, as far as your performance. And again, this is just real-time visibility. I do think, as you build up your data in NetSuite, I'm a big believer in fact-based decisions. Everyone here, we run on NetSuite, and whenever we have a discussion, I expect whoever else is presenting to show up with the data, with live data out of NetSuite. I don't want to talk about possibles or maybes. If someone wants to talk about something, I want to see the actual data based on historical results out of NetSuite. So we're not talking about hypotheticals. I learned a long time ago, 20 years ago, that oftentimes hypotheses are not correct. So I want to start with real data, not what people, maybe they saw only a couple of outliers and don't realize that their hypothesis is actually a rare exception. And anyways, this is, I think visibility is huge, and I'm a big believer in data. That's also my, engineering background coming back out. And again, this is all just business intelligence, very, very common things, sales by channel. What are my bookings? What's your cash flow? What's inventory turnover? These are all standard reports available out of the box when you start to use NetSuite. And then this is the finance role, which again we'll get to shortly. We'll start with an executive role, and then commerce ready system. Again, digital commerce. There's retail, there's manufacturing, where or distribution, wholesale distribution, where you're selling through customer portals. You could even be selling through your website. You've got a digital supply chain you need to manage. On the software and services side, you've got subscription management, usage-based billing. All of that, is critical, and NetSuite does support that. And we'll show you the portal at the very end as well. And then really kind of two parts. When you think about commerce ready, you've got the front end, and then you've got the back end operation. So to think back to the Amazon, right? Managing the Amazon expectations. We're going to start by going over the demo, which will focus on fulfillment, order management, seamless process there. And then at the end, we'll look at some NetSuite front end sites. So you can see examples of what you're able to do on the front end, running your NetSuite off of that integrated database. And again, this looks like here's where we wrap the Suite Commerce ring around the earlier ring that you saw. I'm not sure if we have any retailers on for in-store POS, but NetSuite does support mobile, B2B, B2C. As well as online, and then the customer portals. All right, and then it just works. We'll hit this really quick. NetSuite is the kind of the preferred for companies that have an IPO. A lot of them. I'm not sure if I think it's a majority run on NetSuite. It's well liked in the private equity and in the private equity business because it is a enterprise class platform, and it's also used. It meets all public accounting standards, so public companies can run it as well. So a lot of private equity firms like to have their clients migrate to NetSuite. And as you can see here, 86 billion page requests, right? And I don't know when this was taken. This was 2014. You can go to this page, system.status.netsuite.com, anytime. It's publicly available. It shows you all the operating statistics and uptime statistics, for the NetSuite application. Just huge numbers. NetSuite has data centers around the world. There is one in Chicago, Boston. I think there's four or five in the U.S. I know most of our new clients are going on the Chicago data center. And there's redundancy built in as well. And then just, improved results. And this is really kind of the bottom line, we've got statistics, which we'll be glad to share. And there's publicly available stats at a site called Brainyard.com, which is NetSuite, runs the site. But it does track the actual, tangible, quantitative benefits that companies realize by moving to NetSuite. That's a great site. It helps build a business case, helps keep you focused on what you'll actually achieve and the improved results you should see by moving to NetSuite. And we like to set these with our prospects because it gives us a target, and it gives everyone a target to work to. And again, it's quantifiable, it's actionable, it's measurable, which is all things that we like to see. Okay, so for the demo, Seth's going to flip over to me. But for the demo, what we're going to do is we'll do a little bit of role-based demo, and we're going to look at dashboards, both executive and on the sales level. And then we'll just really quick go through not the order to cash, but I decided to start with a quote. So I'll start with a quote, and that quote could be created through the customer center. I'm going to create it as a sales rep. But we'll flow it through, and I'll show you that in 15 minutes we can go from quote to fulfillment. No rekeying of data, all accurate, flows through start to finish. Very simple, very simple process. So we'll start at sales. We'll log in as the warehouse, so you can understand the warehouse view is very different than a sales view. We'll log in as a controller and invoice the sales order, and we'll be done. And then we'll take some time to visit some NetSuite e-commerce sites, so you can kind of see what those look like as well. So with that, I will show my screen. Great. So everyone should be looking at my screen now, which is a NetSuite dashboard. This is the home dashboard, and this is a dashboard for, if you look up here in the upper right, it says Senior Executive. So NetSuite is, I do like to touch on this, NetSuite is a role-based application. So as a senior executive, I can see pretty much everything. Oftentimes, senior executives aren't allowed to actually create any transactions. They can have view access to everything, but they can't actually create. So this has very broad access. You can see customers, you can see quotes, you can see pipelines, you can see inventory information, you can see bank balances, you can see financial statements, right? And if you look down here on these key performance indicators, right, you can see what's profit, what's my inventory valuation, what are my sales this month versus last month, what are my payables, excuse me, my bank balance, what's my new business. So NetSuite will track first time a customer, purchases. So, I know as an executive, new business versus retention upsell is always something you want to, you should always be bringing in new business. You should always be monitoring the success of your sales. Part of their core is to find new clients, and NetSuite tracks that by default. Not hard to track. NetSuite knows if the client has bought in the past from you, and automatically shows that. And then also just some sales data here. And then even within here, I'm going to click over here. We haven't entered many transactions for this month in this demo account. So this is a demo account. It's a live account, and it's just staged with data from NetSuite. But all of these things you could drill down, or you can graph them. So on the sales, if I hit this little graph line, I get a pop-up that shows me my monthly sales trends. You can see this account is a couple months old because last couple months there hasn't been a lot of data. But you can say I want to see it daily or I want to see it weekly. One thing's great about NetSuite, I can also export. So if I click this export, I have the data in Excel, and I can quickly, if I wanted to, shoot it off to someone. And that graphing ability is available on every one of these metrics has a graph over time. Or if you want to drill down, I could click on this 83,586 and say, oh, what makes up that 83,586? And it shows me by customer, right, what my sales are. Always, that's what you've got date ranges. I can elect to change the date. I could show this by office location or some other metric as well. And then I can also view the detail. If I click on this view detail button, it's going to blow this out and it's going to show it to me by invoice. And then if I wanted to actually see a specific invoice, right, I can click on the invoice number and it hyperlinks. So drill down, drill down, drill down. Ready access to information, right? That's one of the things that we talked about that's important. Customer calls in, your customer service rep, you want them to have immediate, quick access to all that customer's information. You definitely get that with NetSuite. Some other metrics here that I really like as an executive, if we've got sales or operations or finance executives, right? This is the sales and operations. They call this a key performance indicator portlet, and it shows for various metrics that you define. This one is pre-built for new leads, new customers, new opportunities, open opportunities, opportunities won, opportunities lost. What's my sales quota? Sales per head count. Number of channels, and my DSO. And it shows you for this month where I am, for last month, this quarter, last quarter. So you can very quickly get a snapshot over different time periods of how you're trending and how you're performing. These navigation portlets are nice. This is for executive management. This is just a way to put really quick links to things that I might want to look at. Customer profitability, inventory profitability, inventory valuation, open orders, open POs. These are set up, again, just as a way to provide some quick links. monthly sales trend, just various graphs, orders received by customers. Again, whatever is you know, these dashboards are created out of the box, but we do customize them. And that's the home page. And then if I were to go to the sales and marketing tab, I get the sales and marketing dashboard. So again, each tab, has its own set of statistics. If I go to the expenses tab, it's going to show me vendor statistics. So a tremendous amount of, real-time data, and these update in real time. So when I post a sale at the end during this demo, it's going to show up in revenue on that sales rep executive dashboard. So when we talk about modern business and business intelligence and visibility, this is really what we're talking about. So let's flip over now and just talk about a sales rep. So now I'm going to log in as a sales rep. I'm not having a great month if you look here at my KPIs. I was on PTO last week, so that might have something to do with it. But my dashboard, I look at leads, opportunities, customers, my forecast. This dashboard is built for a sales rep. And here, these navigation portlets are to my leads, to my quotes, to my opportunities, right? Totally different than what you saw for an executive. My open activities, there is activity management. I know there are some reps who never want to track activities. There are other reps who really like to track activities. But that's part of the standard setup. Quotes and sales, right? So this is the same dashboard you saw for the executive, but it's just for me. So I'm looking at the exact same information that the executive is, but my slice of it, right? So that's a very good practice. And then I do like to show available to sell, right? This is a key thing. A lot of times, especially if you've got inbound reps taking calls, how many are in stock? How many do you have? What's the status? When can it ship? Can it ship today? Is it in stock? Oftentimes, if you're on disparate systems, that data is hard to get. And as you're going to see when I go to create a quote, I'm going to know immediately how much is on hand and how much is available to sell. And although we won't get into it in this demo, there's also kind of a control tower, so you can see if it's out of stock, exactly when is it going to be back in stock. So, it's out of stock today, but actually there's a PO coming tomorrow. We can ship tomorrow. It'll also show replacement items. Oh, we're out of stock, but I've got a substitute item that I can quote that we have in stock, right? NetSuite has all those tools built into the process. Again, customer service, being easy to do work with, trying to take care of the customer's requests, answer their questions in real time with live data. So let me show you real quick a customer, because I know I've mentioned 360-degree view of a customer. So this Smith Supplies I like to work with, and there's a lot of data buried down here, right? Which is, we could dig through that, but I actually like to show what I call the customer dashboard, which can be configured as the default. And so this customer dashboard shows me for this specific customer, Smith Supplies, their data, right? So they've bought $509 in goods this month versus last month. My forecast for them is 509, which tells me other than what they bought, there's nothing else, there's no open quotes, no open opportunities. The pipeline, they've got $245,000 in their total pipeline. None of it forecast to close this month, so it's longer term. They've got $229,000 in orders that have been placed but not fulfilled. And my average gross profit with them has been 13.75%. Real-time data, right, available, knowledgeable. And then I can see here's all the recent orders from them that we've placed. Here's all the recent activities that, we've had with them. And then, here's links, if I want to get to links to other reports with them. Over here's just some general information, including, what's their balance, what's their consolidated balance, which would include some customers. How many days overdue are they? How long have they been a customer? A a lot of data readily available. So that if someone takes a call, they don't have to fumble around. They know who the customer is. They know how big they are. They know how profitable they are. They know the level of service, and they have the tools that they need to work with them. So I'm going to actually just switch to form, and I'm going to go ahead and you know what? I'll just skip to an order or a quote rather. So we'll create a quote. So I'm on the customer. I click new quote. It brings in. It knows it's with supplies. It brings in all the information. And basically, I'm going to quote. I know I have some iPads in stock, so type ahead. I'm going to say, yep, I want to sell them an iPad. When I take that, they're just going to buy one. I can see right now, I've got 547 in stock and available. Great. I know I can ship today, right? I'm also going to just, and we would typically default that, but I'm going to ship from the San Francisco warehouse. So at the San Francisco warehouse, I've got 425, which is good. And again, here's where if we're out of stock, you can put tools where they can see when's available to promise, when's it going to be in stock next. So I could say, well, we're out today, but we can ship that on Tuesday. Or here's a replacement part. Maybe you might want to think about this replacement part. It's a better product, that type of information. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So it wants me to do shipping. There is integrated shipping. So here it's going to use UPS Ground, and I'm just going to actually do a pickup at store for zero for free shipping on this one. But NetSuite does integrate by default with FedEx and UPS to calculate shipping. It also, if you have DHL for overseas shipments, there are some more advanced options as well with, or multi-carrier or LTL, or if you're shipping by the pallet. There's some add-ons that can help out with that. So I've got my quote. With NetSuite, you could email this to the customer, but I emailed it, and right now I'm going to say, great, the customer signed the quote, sent it back. So as a sales rep, I can create the sales order, right? And oftentimes, typically, sales reps are allowed to create sales orders. Sometimes it will go to a sales operations for approval. We have this account configured so that if it's less than $1,000, no approval is required. It's automatically approved, and it flows right through to the warehouse. So that's what I'm going to do here. As a sales rep, I click that sales order button. It pulls me up as a sales order. Everything pulls through. I don't need to type anything. All I have to do is say save, and then it's going to go off, and it's going to create the sales order, and I'm done. Right? Very simple, very easy. Putting a lot of tools at the hands of the sales reps to provide that superior customer service, to your clients. So I'm going to, now that I've saved the order, and I'll show you at the end, on each of these transactions, there's actually a system-generated email that's going out that I'm getting in my email box. So I get an email order confirmation. I get an email shipment confirmation, and then I get an email of the invoice. All fully automated, a lot of communication, and those can be customized templates, your look and feel, your brand. They can be HTML templates. They can be simple plain text templates. HTML tends to reinforce the brand. So I'm gonna flip now to warehouse operations because the order's in, right? Order's in. No approval was required because it's less than $1,000, which means immediately after going in, it was approved. And when it's approved, it shows up, and the warehouse immediately sees it, ready to fulfill. And most folks will have a pick, pack, and ship. I'm not going to go through the whole pick, pack, and ship process in this demo. But if I click here as a warehouse, you see shipping, receiving. But I clicked on orders to fulfill, and sure enough, here's the order that I just placed And I'm going to go ahead and fulfill this. Typically you'd have pick, put a pick ticket, goes out to pack, it's marked as packed, and then it's marked as shipped. You'll notice here, it knows that it was at San Francisco because that came through the order. NetSuite does a lot of auto assignment of location, right? And with some more advanced warehouse systems, you could do optimizing your pick tickets, right? Based on if it's got multiple products on the order, and products are in multiple bins around your warehouse. We've written some customizations, and now there's off-the-shelf products to optimize that picking. But here, we're going to enter the fulfillment, which will then, note it as shipped. And if you're integrated with FedEx or UPS, this step actually automatically captures the tracking numbers, which then would go out, in the email to the customer. I'll show you in a second that would be there. And then the last thing is I'm going to log in as controller. So I've done that order. You'll see it's not down here anymore. And as controller, I've got sales orders to invoice. This account is set up so you don't invoice until it's fulfilled. So the order's been fulfilled. So now it's here. Generally, higher transaction volumes, we actually do a billing run. So this whole last step is automated on a nightly basis where invoices are automatically generated. And you can see right down here, there's my invoice, right? Shows up in my invoice queue. If I click invoice, I could go ahead and invoice that order. So, that is that's the kind of the straight process, start to finish, very efficient, very fast, easy to do same day shipment. As soon as the order goes in, if it's approved, and even if things go to sales operations for approval, those teams, you generally chunk through them very quickly. It's very common. NetSuite tracks estimated gross profit on each transaction. We have a lot of clients who have GP-based approval. So if the GP is above a certain amount, dollar value is below a certain amount, the order will automatically go through. And now to invoice, I would just say, invoice. I picked the serialized item, so it's going to want that serial number. But so that's the end of the kind of that whole process, and how NetSuite handles that. I did want to flip over and just show you on the e-commerce side some sites, and NetSuite has, there's multiple types of NetSuite sites, and I don't want to get into too much technical detail, but there's what's called a site builder site. There's a Suite Commerce Standard, there's Suite Commerce Advanced, and they each kind of have, as you move up the chain, you get more and more features and different levels of customization. So I'm just going to show you a few. This is this site, Dale Pro Audio, is a electronics retailer out of New York. This is kind of the entry-level site, the site builder site, as is this Clark Street Sports. I just like it because they got a big thing, the Bears. It's kind of fun. I'm sure they sold a lot of Khalil Mack jerseys because it seems to be very popular. But you can see as I scroll down, these are, this is very, modern, clean-looking site. Again, this is Site Builder. This is the entry-level one. Of course, they've got the Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks. As you move up, there's some other sites. This is See the Table, is a seafood distributor, and you'll see here they've got rotating images, and again, nice clean site with images. You can see here customer reviews, right, which is getting back to that Amazon effect. This is all running on NetSuite, and what's nice on this, the order, when you go in there and they place an order, they're placing an order, right, and it's in your database and then ready for fulfillment. And everything we talked about earlier, like restricted sites with product information or restricted sites to particular products or correct pricing information, that's all being managed in NetSuite. So if you log in, NetSuite will show you, the pricing based on your negotiated pricing. And then the last one is NetSuite is a Suite Commerce Advanced site. Suite Commerce Advanced is the most advanced. It's more enterprise class. This is the one that, Pottery Barn of Australia runs on. It's a pretty high-end, very, very custom, platform. But the point is that I just want to make is, these are all very professionally looking sites, kind of built with 3 different layers of technology. Again, so you can, based on your needs and how custom you want, if you really want full custom, you could go to Suite Commerce Advanced. But these sites, to me, there's a lot of great looking sites that are available at relatively reasonable cost. So that's I think that's the information that I wanted to cover. So
Great.
I will turn it back to you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Eric. And so I know we're running low on time here, but just to kind of recap real quickly, what we touched on today is just kind of how Amazon has evolved customer expectations, and to meet those expectations, a lot of companies are finding success when they leverage technology, when they try to match or come close to that seamless experience that Amazon offers. And from what we found is that NetSuite allows a lot of our customers to do just that. And so with all that being said, again, I know we're running short on time. I didn't see too many questions come in, but we'll be glad to share our contact information with everybody. We'd love to talk further with any of you if you do have any questions or concerns that you'd like us to address. My direct line and my email is up on the screen, as well as Eric's contact information. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Keep an eye out in the next day or two. I'll send a follow-up email to everybody with a recording of this session. Please feel free to share that with colleagues if you'd like. Also, if you're not already following us on social media, please feel free to give us a like or a follow. We post lots of interesting content, usually on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We promote more webinars like this one, as well as blog posts, informational, educational content, announcements, and so on. So once again, we really appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today. Thank you very much. We'll be in touch, and take care.